What's up, you guys? It's your girl Tempest Shania, and I am back with another video. So today I'm going to be talking about how growing up in a non-affectionate family affected me as an adult and as a mother. This video stemmed from a couple weeks ago. I was back home in Louisiana visiting my family. And me and my grandmother and my uncle and my daughter were in the living room, and we were just chilling or whatever. And my daughter was doing something, and sporadically I always, like, just out the blue, I'll just like stare into space. Like, I'll just stare, like, I just love looking at her. Like, I feel like she's the most beautiful little girl in the whole wide world. If you don't feel that way about your kids, something's wrong, okay? But I feel like she's the most just beautiful girl in the whole wide world, and I make it my business, both of her parents make it our business to make sure that she knows that she's absolutely gorgeous, she's smart, she's just wonderful, you know? So while she was playing with her toys, I just looked at her and I said, Lennox, you're just absolutely beautiful. I love you so much. Like, I always do that. Like, it's just the normal thing, right? And I don't know what it was, but it triggered something in my grandma. And not even on like no hater type thing, but she just was like out the blue. She said, oh, you're not supposed to, it says in the Bible that you're not supposed to love your children more than God, or put your children before God, or something like that, she said. And for a minute, I'm like, hold on, like, what? And me and my uncle are looking at each other like, what? And so I began to explain to her, which I don't feel like I had to, but I feel like she didn't have no knowledge of why I do what I do with my kid, you know? No hate against my grandma, y'all. It just, that hit a nerve. It struck a nerve. Do you hear me? So I began to explain to her the reason why I talk to my daughter the way that I do. Like, I affirm her and I make sure that she knows that she's loved and that she's beautiful and all the things, okay? And when I explained to her why I do that, then she got it. She was like, okay, I see. And I'm like, yeah. So that little situation prompted me to make this video. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a deep dive back down memory lane, because as I sat and thought about it and I talked to God about it, I understood why she reacted the way she reacted, you know? And it stemmed from her childhood. So we're gonna go all the way back down memory lane, and we're gonna go all the way back to my great grandmother, her mother. So this is per my grandma. Like, I wasn't really close to my great grandma, but these are things that she told me, and maybe one day I'll let her tell her side of the story. But growing up, my great grandma had 10 or 11 kids, and they all had different dads. They all had different dads. Medea, that was her name. That was her nickname. I feel like every black person has a Medea in their family, but Medea was a Rolling Stone, baby. She was a Rolling Stone, okay? She had 10 baby daddies and 10 kids, okay? Growing up, my grandmother stated that she was never at home. Like, her mom was never at home. She was always, you know, with different men. She was always at bars. She was always just not around. And when she was around, she was very mean to her. And I don't know if she was just mean to my grandma, or was she mean to like all of her kids. I don't know. But my grandma said specifically that her mother was extremely mean to her. Her mother was always accusing her of sleeping with men, because my grandma, growing up, my grandma only hung around boys. She never hung around any girls, so her mother always accused her of sleeping with these men and all these other types of things. Sounds like self-projection to me. And her mom just was never affectionate. Never affectionate. Never told her she loved her. Never called her beautiful. Never did anything. She was just mean. Like, and you can tell, as my grandmother was telling me this, even to this day, like, it still bothers her and it still hurts her. And she had to find forgiveness in her heart. She didn't find forgiveness in her heart until her mom like was about to pass away. She passed away at like 90 something. May God bless her soul. But you can tell how it really affected my grandmother. So then my grandma, I think a funny story is, let me tell y'all this part, but my great grandma and 3 of her daughters were all pregnant at the same time. So they all have kids like the same age. They were pregnant with their mom at the same time. It was crazy. Anyways, so then my grandmother grows up and then she starts to have children of her own. And she has all 3 of my uncles and she has my mom. Growing up, my mom stated that she didn't care that her mother never told her she was beautiful. She didn't care that her mom never told her that she loved her, or she didn't care that she didn't get hugs and kisses from her mom. It never really affected her. My mom is like a nonchalant person, so she just really doesn't care about affection, right? So, but growing up, she knew that her mom loved her just by her actions, the way she took care of her, the way she made sure she had everything that she needed and all of that. She knew that she loved her, but she didn't, you know, she just didn't have like the words of affirmation. She didn't have that. So it didn't really bother her growing up. So then my mom grows up and then she starts to have kids, which is my 2 older brothers and me. Right. And growing up, I really did not think nothing of it. Like, I'm in the house, we don't say we love each other. We actually think that's weird. Like, we didn't leave the house and tell each other we loved each other. We didn't give each other hugs. We didn't give each other kisses. None of that. Like, that's weird. Like, especially between me and my brothers. Do not touch me. You know how siblings be. But don't touch me. You know, and like, we just never did that. Like, and it didn't dawn on me until I was like in junior high, and I would see my peers and people around me, like their parents were like telling them like, I love you, see you later. Or like my best friend, her and her mom had this little thing where they would say, see you later, alligator, and she'd say, after a while, crocodile, and I love you, and all this type of things. And like, I started to see that and I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like, that's sweet. We don't do that at my house. Like, we know we gonna ride for each other, but doing all that extra lovey-dovey affectionate stuff was just not, we ain't doing it. Don't do that. And so growing up and starting to see that from other people around me, it was like, dang, like, I want to be like that when I'm a mom. Like, I want to be affectionate and loving and telling my child, you know, that they're just awesome and just all the things that I never got and that I never knew that I needed, you know. And so eventually, obviously, I grew up and I had a daughter of my own. And from the moment that I had my daughter, she was almost like the saving grace for my family, because the moment I had my daughter, everybody in my family became affectionate. Everybody. Loving on her, kissing on her, telling her she's so beautiful. All of these things that we never got when we were kids, everybody started doing that to her, you know. And as soon as, you know, I had her, I found out about her, like, that's the light of my world. Like, Jesus first, but she lights up my whole entire world. And it's like natural in me. Like, I don't ever want her to feel like she's not loved or cared about. Like, that has to be the worst feeling ever. And I wanted her to know each and every day, like, my mom loves me. Like, when she grows up, I want her to know, like, yeah, my mom took care of me. She made sure I had everything I needed and everything that I wanted, but she loved me. Like, not only did she show me she loved me, she told me that she loved me. And so I wanted to be that type of mother. Do I fault my mother for that? No, she didn't know any better, so I can't fault her for that. But I can be the generational curse breaker and do things different, so my daughter's kids and her kids and generations after me will know how to show love and affection. So as I was explaining to my grandma, like, one of the reasons I explained to her why I affirm my daughter so much, because she's a little girl, and one day she's gonna step out and she's gonna start dating and talking to boys and all of those things, and I don't want a little stanky boy to feed her something she ain't already heard before. She's gonna be able to walk with so much dignity and no, you can't just call me beautiful, you can't just say you love me, you just can't do that, because my mama and my daddy tell me that all the time. Okay, you're gonna have to bring something different to the table. That's one of the reasons why you know, we make sure that she knows, like, she like, you're a princess, like, she's a little dark-skinned girl, like, your black is so beautiful. Like, these are things that is so important to your children's self-esteem and their self-worth and how they look at themselves and how they value themselves. If they hear it from home first, can't nobody else tell them any different, because my mama made sure I knew that I'm the stuff, you know what I mean? And so I want her to know that, and it's true. It's not like I'm telling a lie, it's true. Like, everything that I say to her, that's exactly how I feel about her. If you're not showing your kids affection and love, I think you should try to do something different. Like, it could really affect them in the long run. Like, I think, I'm not saying like you have to be all over somebody and this and that, but I think it's important to especially make sure you show your children affection. Let them know how much you love them. Let them know how much you care about them. It's, you know, it's not all about the words. Of course, actions speak louder than words, but I feel like that can't do nothing else but make a positive impact on their life if you are showing them affection. I think a lot of people lack affection, and so they start to self-project on other people, and I never wanted to do that. You know, I haven't been always the best person, but I never want my past circumstances or the past things I went through to affect somebody in a negative way, like, at all. So if you come across this video and you're not an affectionate person, pray, ask God to make you more affectionate for who you need to be affectionate with. Especially your children. Like, make sure they feel that love and that affection. Give them everything that you didn't have growing up. Like, make sure they have a different experience, because we're generational curse breakers around here, baby. We're gonna break generational curses, and we're going to build a healthy foundation. Even though we didn't have it growing up, we're chosen, okay? And we want to make sure that we don't take these generational curses down to the next generation of people. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Love you guys, and I'll talk soon.